Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. Today, as always, I'll be doing a deck tech from the comment section for you guys. If you're interested in having me put a deck together for you or help you tweak a list you're trying to work on, I'm looking for any of the 5 metrics in the comment section. A bracket, a budget, a theme, a commander, and any pet cards you might have. I'll also leave a link to join my Discord down below. It's a great place to drop a deck list off and have me work on it. Today we have a request from the user Dion looking for bracket 3, the Wise Mothman. So, there's a lot of different directions that you can take the Wise Mothman. What I will say is a lot of people are tending towards Mill. I'm not convinced the Wise Mothman is the best Mill commander for a couple reasons. One, Mill is frankly bad in Commander. It's extremely hard to win the game with it. It's not really fun for you or for them. So I don't like that type of a game plan. Self Mill is a little more interesting, but if we wanted to go that route, I'd recommend Muldrotha or like Tavol. I think they would both be more efficient and just strictly better in all scenarios at that job. So I've actually landed on a +1/+1 counter package. I know you asked for bracket 3. I've built it bracket 2. Obviously, just add a couple game changers in and turn it into bracket 3. Obviously, the bracket system is a little convoluted. I would say this operates as a bracket 3 right now, so don't be afraid to add a couple game changers. It's bug, black, green, and blue in a colorless for a 3/3 flyer. When it enters or attacks, each player gets a rad counter. Whenever one or more non-land cards are milled, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X creatures, where X is the number of non-land where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way. So, for those who don't know, rad counters I have it pulled up. If you have hypothetically 3 rad counters at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, so after your untap, after your draw, after your upkeep, you would mill 3 cards, and then you would lose 1 life and remove 1 rad counter for each non-land card milled this way. So that's kind of the self-mill aspect of it. We're utilizing it in terms of getting stuff out of our graveyard and getting the lands back, but this is not like a full-on reanimator self-mill shell. Creatures, we have a lot of things that obviously interact with counters. I would say more often than not, these creatures are going to be adding counters, drawing cards, or utilizing the counters in some interesting way. Bloatfly Swarm utilizes counters in an interesting way. Danny Pink will draw cards. Same with Fathom Mage. You can also get card draw out of Genova. You get advantage out of Kodama, being able to rampant growth over and over. Poliwag Prodigy will allow you to draw cards. Ray Fillet will allow you to draw cards. And then I believe that is it as far as card draw in the creatures. And then you have your utility stuff. So things like Dreamtide Whale to keep the party going, Evolution Witness to buy stuff back, Gyre Sage to make mana, Herald of Streak. Can't talk today. Herald of Secret Streams is one of your main win conditions. Being able to make all your stuff unblockable is obviously powerful. Corpse Jack Menace, aka Humongous Fungus, which is just a strictly better version. It just puts twice the number of 1/1 counters on something. Incubation Druid to make mana. Ouroborid can grow something to a kind of unstoppable level. Rampaging Yao Gai to get rid of artifacts and enchantments. Tekethal to double proliferation. Vexing Radgall will mess with rad counters. The Phyrexian Vorinclex, which obviously we're going to pick something else. You can actually read it, but it basically doubles counters and then halves counters for everybody else. Watchful Radstag to make, infinite copies of itself. Winding Constrictor to add things. And then finally, Tato Farmer will interact with whenever your land enters, you get 2 rad counters, and then you can put a land from your graveyard into play. Sakura Tribe Elder is the beginning of our ramp section. Obviously, you could also count Gyre Sage and Incubation Druid. We would also have Farseek, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, Shared Roots, 3 Visits. This is going to be an overwhelming amount of ramps. Stick with me. Arcane Signet, Demir Signet, Felwar Stone, Golgari Signet, Simic Signet, Soul Rain, Talisman, Talisman, Talisman. 16 pieces of ramp, which I know sounds unbelievably unnecessary, but I'd like to show you something really quick. Card draw probability. So, If our deck is 99 cards and we have 16 pieces of ramp, we're going to draw 9 cards before our first our second turn, right? You're going to have 7 for your opener. You're going to draw a card turn 1. You're going to draw a card turn 2. So by the time you can play a second land, you're going to have a total of 9 cards drawn. So in this calculator, it is saying that your chance to hit one piece of ramp in those 9 cards is 81%. With a free mulligan, I don't know what the number is, but I would assume that number goes closer to 85 to 90% to have a ramp piece on turn 2 every single game. This goes back to the fact that there are some commanders where it's extremely important to get them out of turn early, and there are some commanders where it's okay to deploy it later. The wise Mothman, in my opinion, is extremely to get out early. Important. Being able to get your lands out of your graveyard, being able to start distributing tokens and adding +1/+1 counters, getting the milling started. A lot of that is really important to this game plan. So having that consistently on turn 3 after turn 2 ramp is where I want to be with this deck. Also have Casualties of War. Obviously, 1-for-1's not great in Commander when there's 4 players, but a 5-for-1 can be pretty awesome. Nuclear Fallout is a board wipe. You also have Wave Goodbye as a one-sided board wipe. Oh, I almost forgot Life from the Loam. Great way to get back lands. There are not any particularly incredible lands here. There are some good ones, but if you wanted to go the route of putting in like specific lands, interesting lands, feel free to do that. The package is built for it. Contaminated Drinks for card draw, Heroic Intervention, Inspiring Call to save your guys. Mutational Advantage for the same reason. Ripples of Potential as another one-sided dip out of here type of situation. So all of these will allow you to protect your stuff. The Ozolith to keep your counters around. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. This card is hard not to combo with, and if you do want to combo, I would just I've also shown this multiple times. If you go to 80 EDH Rec and you type in the card name, you can go to combos and it will go over all of the potential combos that you have with Agatha Soul Cauldron and the things you can do. So even right here, you can see if you were to add a Devoted Druid to this build, you could have a infinite colored mana combo. I didn't add that, but if you do want to, again, break into that more powerful threshold, that is the route I would go. Conduit of Worlds, as well as Head Shredder to utilize the lands going to our graveyard. Palantir, it's a great card to put counters on and proliferate. Power Fist to add counters. Finally, the Great Henge, making it cheaper, getting card draw, getting counters, getting life. It does everything this deck wants to do. I would only play it if you already have one. This card is 100% not worth the price tag. Enchantments, we have things like Branching Evolution and Doubling Season to get more out of our 1/1 counters. Bred for the Hunt, Terra Symbiosis, Guardian Project, Hollowmurk, Siege, all for card draw. And then finally, Innkeeper's Talent. It can add counters, it can eventually double them and give your stuff Ward. Sphere Grid can also give your stuff Reach and Trample, which will allow you to obviously probably end the game a little more quickly. Lands, we already said nothing special. Feel free to add some special things with the Head Shredder, the Conduit of Worlds, the Life from the Loam. The package is built for it. I just don't know what you have, and I don't want this deck to get, unbelievably expensive for no reason. But we do have some cool ones here like Mariposa, Shifting Woodland, Swarm Yard. You could also look into lands that have cycling. You could look into lands that have specific effects like Takanuma, Beseiju. I think those could be good options, but it's all based on what you want. I know for the very last thing, you wanted Willbreaker and Dismiss into Dreams as your pet cards. Here's what I will say. These cards are really sweet and they can find a home. I don't think that home is here. If you are hell bent on putting it in this deck, then obviously do that. That's what the game's all about. It's all about creativity, having fun the way that you enjoy playing the game. I personally would look into some different commanders for cards like these. I think you can find something that's a little more dedicated to targeting other people's stuff, and it might be a little more breakable in those fields, those decks. But overall, I think the deck turned out really good. I know it's expensive, but it was budgetless for you. So if you're at home looking at this thinking this is crazy, a lot of it's just the land base. Things like Urborg is like $50 for no reason whatsoever because it hasn't been reprinted in a while. Don't feel the need to add that and the doubling season. You can easily cut this down to a couple $100 and have a good time. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Godspeed.